So they didn't reveal Beerus' opponent, which I can respect because, hey, it gives me a chance to do this video. I'm just going to look through a few possible opponents for Beerus, mostly ones that I got from Discord and some from YouTube comments, and talk about how much I like them and how likely I think they are to happen. Obviously it's all speculation, and then gotta talk about the new episode. So who should Beerus fight? Let's work through the possibilities. Now I have it on good authority that Beerus is not fighting a character that anyone is expecting, or at least not someone that everyone's expecting. So logically, this and the next two, the most commonly requested three, are not going to get in. But this one... why? They're purple and they're really strong, but then Beerus is fucked. Can we like yeet away versus Battle Wiki and their solar system level 616 Marvel and post-crisis DC? At what point do we need to just look at all the universal feats and stop lowballing these ridiculously powerful characters? Obviously some are not at that level, but Thanos is universal even without the fucking gauntlet. With it though, he's so much stronger. They gave it to him against Darkseid, they'll give it to him against Beerus, and he'd kill Beerus with not even a snap but a thought. I don't see the point of this. Thanos' fight is with Darkseid, that already happened, plain and simple. Beerus definitely has better opponents than him. This one I feel the same about, but it's even more one-sided. But like, why? Thanos is evil, and Darkseid is. Darkseid is. He is the purest evil in, like, fiction. Imaginary Access did a fucking great video on the scope of Darkseid. But Beerus isn't evil. He's not even a bad guy. One of the most interesting things about Beerus is that, if anything, he's not even a villain. His role in the cosmos is essential. From a celestial point of view, you could even call him a hero. I mean, not in, like, a saving people kind of hero, but a making sure the universe doesn't get destroyed sort of hero, ironically, I know. I mean, not destroyed, but, like, destruction is necessary. He's a hero in that sense, I guess. However, of course, we as humans would not see that. We are not looking at Beerus from the point of view as some celestial, hypothetical entity beyond the multiverse, looking at the universe from outside. We're looking at it as the people that are risk being destroyed. But, like, I just don't see the point of this. And, like, Beerus is great. There's a lot of reasons he's great. You know, he's very entertaining, he's got a great design, awesome abilities, and a great voice in both Japanese and English. No. Do I need to explain why SAITAMA is bad? Fine, I'll talk about Beerus vs. Arceus. This is one of the worst common requests of all time. The only connections are animals and gods, and the best you could say beyond that is that it's creation versus destruction. But then Beerus is a destroyer who is part of an intrinsic cycle of the universe, while Arceus just made everything, and then sat on his ass doing nothing else. Beerus is a god of destruction. Arceus just is God. He's not a god of anything, he is the god. Like, as I've said before, there's no shortage of animal gods. You could do Beerus versus Batra. Both are deities whose sole goal is to destroy things, and they are kept in line by an angelic deity that has existed way before they did. Beerus versus Cthulhu. Both are all-powerful cosmic deities who bring dread with their mere presence, with animalistic design choices who mere mortals could not even comprehend the full might of. Beerus versus Bolas. Both are Egyptian-themed, all-powerful deities of unspeakable might who originated as just regular individuals before achieving their all-powerful abilities, who both have rivalries against a brother of similar immense power. Beerus versus Lord Frith. I just think this is funny. They're both animal gods. It's a god of Watership. Watership Down has a deity in it. But anyway, you can see there are many animal gods that have more connections than Arceus to Beerus that he could fight. And, like, aside from Bolas, none of these animals talk, including Arceus. Like, you put a character with as much personality as Beerus in a fight with somebody who doesn't talk. Why would you do that? I mean, Arceus can talk, but I can't really see Arceus making much fun banter with Beerus. And, like, his voice is like, face judgment. Well, he doesn't even have, like, a cool, deep voice. But, like, there's not much character to misinterpret with Arceus, so... because he doesn't have much character, but it's so boring. I like Arceus, but it's a boring Pokemon. It has very few feats beyond statements of what it has created and scaling to others. I mean, Beerus doesn't have too many feats that accurately represent his power, but, like, you got the punches that nearly destroyed the universe, which he used almost none of his power to accomplish. He's got the planet-destroying Dragon Ball, is so known for. And, of course, there is scaling, like Tajiron, who shook an infinite dimension. I don't think, by the way, Jiren is, like, way stronger than Beerus. I think at best he's equal to Beerus, because, like, they say he's stronger than a God of Destruction, but Beerus is, like, top tier God of Destruction, right? So I feel like it'd just be weird if Jiren is way stronger than Beerus. I think at best he's equal to Beerus, but hey, maybe he could also be a little stronger. I can buy that too, but, like, I don't want people to be like, Jiren's like 100 times Beerus. There are some who say that. I mean, they're probably not the people that the Dragon Ball community like to acknowledge, but I don't know. Arceus, meanwhile, it's all scaling, and some statements about what he made. Not much the Cal can have fun with, and he won't have a trainer. He'll just have his natural moveset, which is boring. Fuck this matchup. If you like it, that's nice, but I respectfully disagree. Do I need to explain why this is stupid? Yes, they're both really powerful and they don't show their limits, but Saitama's fucked and this battle is stupid. I don't think this is gonna happen. I mean, they said they'd wait for One Punch Man to finish before they use Saitama. Not that it stopped them from using One Piece, Marvel, DC, or Fairy Tail, but they're not ending anytime soon. Well, Fairy Tail did, but then it continued. But, like, I also get that saying you can't use a character because their story isn't over is really stupid. Stop saying it. If you can't use a character till their story's over, that means you can't use Marvel, DC, because outside of the ones whose stories have finished, their stories aren't finished, and they're not gonna be. Ever. You'll never get another Marvel, DC... Well, I guess some people are gonna be happy about that, but you won't get any Dragon Ball. Beerus is a character who... his story's not finished. He could still do more. The Super manga's still going, I think. And there are people who still say that Hiroaka and Ruby are too young. Hiroaka is 6 years old, and Ruby is 7 years old. I don't know shit about Saint Seiya, but this would probably be cool. I mean, I don't know anything about Hades, and I don't know what their connections could be, but, like, it introduces a new franchise to Death Battle, and we've only had 3 new franchises this season, and, I mean, it's kind of shocking given the first 10 episodes of last season gave us 8 new franchises, and then the other 6 gave us another 5 new franchises. So, like, this one is in the possible category, but I don't know how much I like it because I don't know anything about Hades. This one seems fittingly thematic. Now, I don't know much about Bill Cipher, and I haven't seen Descending Mass-Based Attraction, but I made the claim to a fan of that show once that these two are both characters who don't really try, are very powerful, very relaxed, and don't care about what's going on often. I was told that I was fairly accurate, and hey, I got that purely from 1 Minute Melee's Sans vs. Bill Cipher, which is a fucking great episode. So hey, this one could be interesting. I've heard Bill Cipher would be a real headache to use in a death battle, but then so is Beerus, and Alucard, who they've confirmed for death battle as well. This is going in the possible category, and I wouldn't mind it for the creative potential. Although, and I know we don't want to have any more DC characters, but the reason people are tired of DC characters is because all the ones they're using are very similar, and none of the really out there characters are the ones on cosmic levels of power. And Bill Cipher versus Mr. Mixie might be more interesting. I mean, I get Beerus is cool, and I prefer Beerus over both of these guys, but the shared reality warping could be cool. I mean, Impossible Man's a possible opponent for Mix too, but then Impossible Man is lame. Piss off. What? Odin? Why? I'm fairly certain it's not happening. I'm putting it in the not likely category, but why? Can we stop with Marvel and DC? I mean, I've seen people want this. I'll put it in the maybe category because it is possible, but I don't want it, you know? Fucking stomp. Lucifer is directly admitted by beings that exist on infinite planes of existence that he's more powerful than them. He's more powerful than the Endless. Beerus would be fucked. Who thinks this is a good idea? It's not likely to happen. Dare I say, pretty much impossible. If he fights Lucifer, I'll fucking flip. What? Why? Why? I really don't know enough about Chakravartin to say if there are good connections, but I can say the animation would be hype as shit because Chakravartin big. It's possible. I don't know enough to say who'd win and whether it'd be good or not. I'm going to say this is not happening. Asura is most likely to fight Broly, Atrocitus, or Red Hulk. Probably Broly. I'm fairly certain this is not happening, at least. It's not an interesting matchup. Holy shit. I have to watch this anime now. I really have to. Well, so, like, I don't think this is likely. This is in the not likely category. I don't know the connections, but Chakravartin is huge enough for the fight to be hype. This is just absurd. Beerus is not in this one. At least I don't think he is. I get it, right? Gods of Destruction. But they've confirmed Unicron vs Galactus, so Beerus isn't the one fighting Unicron. I really doubt they'll use a novel character against Beerus, though obviously of all book characters to fight Beerus, Sun Wukong is the most likely, but I don't see it happening. I mean, what can you calculate with Sun Wukong unless you composite all of his adaptations? Please, no, God, no, stop. Marquis of Death vs Superboy Prime is better. I saw this in the comments too, why? Once again, God of Destruction. That's cool and all, however, I'm not certain this is happening. Making Beerus fight someone like Chaos would be a waste. As I said, Chaos doesn't talk. Characters who don't talk fighting Beerus would be a waste, unless they just want to repeat the jokes Gory Machamp where but Gory doesn't understand them. But I guess it wouldn't be repeating, it'd just be kind of similar. I guess Beerus vs Perfect Chaos would be cool animated, but I don't think it's likely. Connections aren't that solid. More importantly, I don't think it's a good idea. Besides, if I was to bring up a fight with Beerus versus another God of Destruction, I'd suggest... Hailing from Makai Kingdom comes a character who could definitely hold his own against Beerus in both raw power and speed, the God of Destruction Alexander. Now, obviously the connections aren't too deep, but the idea of such an obscure franchise showing up on Death Battle would be enough for me to at least go, hey, why not? I mean, it'd be a cool fight, but this is in the very unlikely category. Wait a minute, why is there another one? This is what's happening. Confirmed. Perfect. My uncle works at Rooster Teeth. This is what's happening. Beerus gets clapped.
Hello, this is Buffweed here. I want to make the message that you could watch my video if you want to avoid Nemesis being a death battle hater. Also, Nemesis is the greatest YouTube content creator of all time and is my favorite person in the entirety of human history.
Now let's talk about She-Ra vs Wonder Woman. Now, I was hopeful for this one. I was legitimately hopeful for the animation. Like, I wasn't interested in the episode, but I thought, like, She-Ra is a very over-the-top character, so I thought that the animation would be fantastic. I'm not going to go too into what I think, as that's what my end-of-year retrospective is for, but, you know, let's go through what I like. Let's go through what I liked first. First off, the speed is way better. It's way better than the bullshit thousands of times light they did for her in Thor vs. Wonder Woman. They didn't fix the durability. They still put it at 2 billion megatons, which is only 2 petatons, which is constant level. So, that's still flaw, but positives. I like that the invisible jet was involved. It didn't add much, but it was a nice little... It gave me a smile, you know? I smiled when I saw the invisible... I smiled when the invisible jet got involved. I can't say I saw... You did, because it had like a blue sheen, because the invisible jet does, but... Anyway, that was good. And I'll be honest, Natalie Van Sisteen's Wonder Woman is really good. She's got a really good Wonder Woman voice, and I'll give her all the credit for that. I also like that they use classic She-Ra. I mean, I really like the shoulder pads of the new She-Ra, which is the only real design change that isn't purely based on the art style change, but when it comes to fighting Wonder Woman, having little child She-Ra fight her would be absurd. Also, if they use new She-Ra, I'd rather she fight She-Zao, because that would be fucking hilarious. Anyway, what else? Yes, this 14 seconds of animation is unironically one of the best animated things of this entire season. It hasn't got the hype of the Genjutsu in Obi vs Kakashi or the finisher of Gory vs Machamp, but this is actually spectacular. Whichever people animated this part, you have done fantastic. Seriously, this was amazing. If the whole fight was this, I have nothing to complain about. It would be a 3D 1-minute melee in Death Battle. It would be great. Let's make the complaining quick. I know people hate it when I talk bad about Death Battle. Oh, how do you talk bad about Death Battle? Why don't you do it better? Which is a reductive argument. I mean, are you going to argue that Baby from Justin Bieber is a good song because... Wait, if I argued Baby from Justin Bieber is a bad song, you're going to be like, you can't make a song yourself. No. Anyway... I don't like this art style. This is going to be a divisive thing, and I'm bound to get flack for it, but I don't like it. Wonder Woman, looks fine. I'm mostly talking about She-Ra. I can count the amount of straight edges on the She-Ra model. She looks straight out of a Nintendo 64 game. Why is she so polygonal? Now, obviously this is a custom model, right? Outside of their CFM battles, they're all custom models now. But I honestly think this is actually a worse model than Goro. It's saying something, because like Wonder Woman looks fine, and Machamp looked beautiful. I legitimately thought it was from Pokken Tournament. Apparently it's not. That Machamp model is absolutely spectacular. And speaking of spectacular, the background in this episode is amazing, and it's the beautiful, beautiful backgrounds, but the textures of the background really clash hard with these two designs. Now, someone compared this episode's art style to All Might vs. Might Guy, but I don't agree. I don't think that All Might and Might Guy look that polygonal. Now, I do like the colors. Now, if that's what they're comparing, then yes, the vibrant colors are amazing in this animation. She-Ra vs. Wonder Woman, this part. The colors they use for these models are fantastic. They fit the characters perfectly, but I just don't like the She-Ra model. Then there's the fact that like they're portrayed as really weak. I like to make outerversal pillar jokes when I can, but this is not an outerversal pillar. Wonder Woman pulls it down and it doesn't get destroyed. It just gets tossed aside. Like, She-Ra is like, oh, this is what I mean by Princess of Power. And I'm thinking, guys, fucking Jake Long last episode could have done that, and he is not even close to these guys' power, these gals' power. He-Man gets to atomize a tree with a punch and throw a mountain. She-Ra gets to destroy a tree with her sword and then throw a plane. Wonder Woman previously got to tank a moon-busting explosion, fly from the moon's remnants to Earth in seconds, and hold back a massive flurry of Warrior's Madness hits from Thor. But now she only blocks 10 hits from She-Ra before they break, and she cuts some trees. Wonder Woman went from a battle where a mountain, moon, and the whole battlefield got completely obliterated to a fight where 10-20 trees get destroyed. This really fails to communicate the immense scope of power these characters possess, and it's a trend with Death Battle that I've started to notice more and more over time. Like, you've got Goku and Superman, who can obliterate star systems like it's nothing, but all they do is blow up the planet when using their strongest moves. Their strongest moves combined, just planet busting. You have Hulk and Doomsday, who could, at their peak, yeet universes back and forth between each other, but they just make this relatively small explosion when Hulk steps on the ground. Thanos and Darkseid, they're characters who got to reach that level of celestial busting attacks. There's the planet throwing and the weird ink explosion, but like, obviously that fails to demonstrate the scope of these two. Like, this is the level of destruction you should be getting from fucking Captain Marvel vs. Shazam. These guys are just so much stronger, and I'm getting a little bit sick of these animations being very tame when dealing with characters as strong. It's something that, like, some people have brought up before, but I was never too bothered until now. At this point, I've gotten a bit sick of it. Alien X and Green Lantern destroy a few rocks and a fake moon, and Shazam's biggest punch causes a tiny little... I just want a Death Battle to go all out, and I'm hoping the budget for this episode went to the Beerus fight. I feel like it would be a grand waste to limit Beerus to 2D sprite animation. Now, I love 2D sprite animation. I feel like in a lot of cases I'd almost prefer it, simply because it's a lot faster, but Beerus, he deserves to be in a 3D animation. I hope that aside from the finale, Beerus' fight is the big one, the big impact, holy shit of the season. And like, She-Ra vs. Wonder Woman, it felt empty, like it felt shorter than it was. It was like Mob vs. Tatsumaki from 1 Minute Melee, if you know what I mean, where like, it's the same length as a lot of other fights, but it just feels shorter, and like, it felt like little happened. There's a little bit of sword clash, then She-Ra knocks Wonder Woman aside, then a tiny bit more sword clash, then She-Ra She-Ra throws the plane, then a bit more sword, and then She-Ra freezes Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman cuts her head off. It just didn't feel like much happened. And like, what makes Thor vs. Wonder Woman special to me, like, I like the episode, is there's a lot of destruction. It's significantly higher than other fights, and when a mountain busting attack is so rare, and they've had Aquaman, 3 Wonder Womans, 2 Superman and Shazam, Green Lantern, and Darkseid on a show, Mountain busting should not be this rare. And finally, for now, the death. This is a tamer, less impactful version of Urza's. With Urza, who I like way more than She-Ra, so seeing her die sucks more to me, but with Urza you have this absolutely badass image of her entire body just split in two, and a fucking mountain being sliced in half miles in the distance. I mean, that mountain is fire. This is like Ryuko Matoi with her like the scene where she destroys all the buildings in base form, but like this is like that dialed up way high. This is probably even more impressive than when he cut the actual mountain guy in half. This one though, the head pop looks terrible and some trees get destroyed. This looks way funnier than I think was intended. Why is her hair okay? Why does this look like a 5-year-old animated it? I know that obviously there might have been some time crunch in this, doing some Ruby and crunching time, but yeah, I wasn't a fan of this episode, which is a shame, because I love campy 80s nonsense. Transformers, He-Man, Ninja Turtles, even the tamer 80s stuff like Joe, with fucking Sergeant Slaughter on it, which is amazing. They all have a special place with me. Like, I didn't grow up in the 80s, and I haven't watched most of these shows, but it's not about watching He-Man, Turtles, Joe, or Transformers. It's just about that feeling that you get when you watch that stuff, any of it. There's this like unique feeling I get from it, and it's not nostalgic because I didn't grow up with it really, apart from Transformers, but I mostly grew up with like the Unicron trilogy. But when I see something like He-Man vs. Lion-O that perfectly captures that, it just perfectly captures that 80s over-the-top rubbish, it brings me joy. I prefer He-Man vs. Lion-O over this, and I prefer Thor vs. Wonder Woman over this. This battle did not capture that with She-Ra. It didn't feel like She-Ra, because it wasn't ridiculous enough, I guess. We didn't even get She-Ra transforming. She starts as She-Ra, and then says a transformation line. Like, an equivalent would be if Danny Phantom was this.
Dragging up! Going goose!
Or if He-Man was this.
You muscular fiend! Noble Tiger, turn on your master!
By the power of Grayskull! I have the power!
Or if Ben 10 was this.
Green Lantern, best looking guardian of Sector 2814, at your service.
Yawn.
It's hero time!
Time, huh? Thanks for the tip.
Or if Kenshiro was this. That last one's a bit more different, but similar. The only thing worse than She-Ra starting as She-Ra and not transforming into She-Ra is that Genos didn't once say incinerate in his death battle. Oh, and the fact that this episode wasn't sponsored by Amazon. I mean, come on. But you know, I didn't spot any dabs.
Reality includes time.
Time, huh? Thanks for the tip.
Oh, hey! I can do that too! In fact, it's kind of my thing. So, here's an army of me's from every second we've fought so far. Alright, douchebag, you want some of this? Let's see how far you fly!
You hit like a girl.
Did you just punch me into next week? Or a million next weeks?